So to do a rainbow pillow that is standard size, just a standard size pillow that you'd have on your bed, let's start with whatever size pillow that you have. So a standard size pillow is 24 long by 16 wide. So that's my 24. So 24 long by 16 wide. But when I made my chain for it, I only made my chain 20 inches long, because as you work it, it's going to get, take my thing I'm making right now, it is going to get stretchier and stretchier, right? So this initially was 20 inches long when I started to build it. This is for a standard pillow. And it is currently 21 inches long. So a standard pillow is 24. But I have a really crappy pillow. And it isn't puffy. So I made mine shorter because I have kind of a flat, crappy pillow. I just used an old crappy pillow that I was going to throw out because I buy new pillows every few months, right? So instead of throwing these pillows out or, using them in the spare room so some poor sap has to lay on this crappy pillow, I decided that this is what I was going to do. I was going to start making rainbow pillows and rainbow bow pillows. And so I want it shorter because I want it fluffy. And then when I put the thing in the middle, it'll really fluff up on the two ends instead of just being a flat, overused pillow. So even though my pillow is 24 inches long, my two pieces are going to be 21 inches long because I did my chain at 20 inches long. That's for a standard pillow. So we're going to do the second part of that standard pillow in with the video that I'm already doing for this little pillow. So we're doing both in this video. So this bottom part, I did these two different ways. So this bottom part, I took off 2 inches in measurements before I started to measure, and this is for a 12 by 12 insert. So I did at 10. I did 10 inches when I chained, and my piece is at 12. So at least take 2 inches off whatever length your pillow is, minus 2 inches, and then make the chain that long because it will grow in size. So this piece grew 2 inches in size. Alright, so let's get started with making this rainbow bow pillow. So get all your colors. All my colors are neon colors. So I've got, well, almost all of them. I've got neon pink. This is all from Craftsmart, the neon collection. Get neon pink, neon yellow, and then this blue. It's just a number. It's an art number. Blah blah blah. It's red heart anyway. So, but you can choose whatever colors you want. And then this is a neon purple, neon orange, and then I just kept following that same pattern. So we're going to follow the same pattern for both parts of the pillowcase. So for a standard 24 length by 16 width, you want to make your, if it's a brand new pillow, you don't need to worry about cutting down the size. You can make a chain that's 22 in length, because as you crochet, it's gonna grow 2 inches. So take 2 inches off, whatever size. So if you get a brand new standard size pillow, it's gonna be 24 inches. you're going to have to take 2 inches off. So I would make your chain 22 inches that you chain, and then you're going to have to just build the rows. If it's 16 wide, like a standard pillow, then you build 16 wide. The one that I'm doing here is for a used flat pillow that just doesn't, it's not conducive anymore for my needs. So I want to squish it in there to build up the fluffing a little bit. So I've actually taken 3 inches off my length and my width. So my width is 13 wide and my length is 21. It was 20, my chain was 20, and it grew an inch. Anyway, as I was saying before my camera cut me off, I started my chain at 20 inches because it's a used pillow. I'm taking 3 inches off. It grew an inch as I was building it. So it just tends to stretch out like that while you're in the process. So that's why I took 3 inches off, because it's an old pillow. But if you're not an old pillow, I would just take 2 inches off. And if you wanted a kind of all loosey-goosey and not really tight, which doesn't seem to really work well with a bow pillow, but you can do whatever you want. Just whatever size pillow you're doing, measure it and then take a couple of inches off. That's all I'm saying. This pattern can be for any size pillow. It doesn't have to be for a standard size pillow. So for a standard size pillow with my gauge, which is kind of loose, that's why another reason I need you to just measure, because my gauge is loose. Your gauge might be tight. I'm going to chain 70. For a standard size pillow, I chained 70. For a 12 by 12, I chained 42. So this is my 70 stitches. We're gonna measure my gauge so that you have a rough idea as soon as I start building. So all you have to do is skip 2, because we're doing half double crochets. So this one and that one, you're gonna yarn over and go into the 3rd stitch from your hook and do a half double crochet, and then 1 half double crochet. So 68 half double crochets all the way back up. And for my color changes, I did 2 rows per color. So like I said, my gauge is pretty loose, and my yarn, it all depends. If you're not using the same yarn as me, there's going to be a difference in size as well. So there's lots of things that can make your size different, and that's why I always say to measure. And hook sizes are not always identical either. I myself have 2 different hooks. They're both 4.5, but one builds smaller than the other. That's just the maker of the hook, right? So now that I've got a few here, I actually haven't counted. So in 5 inches, and usually you do 4 inches, but in say 5 inches, I've done 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 stitches in 5 inches. So 20 of my stitches makes up 5 inches of work. So that's how loose my gauge is. So that's how you can check your gauge, is do 20 stitches. And if yours is 5, then you're like me, you can probably do chain 70 and be perfectly fine. If you measure yours and yours is say 4 inches, then you're a tight crocheter. I would chain more than 70 to get the length. But again, just measure the length of your chain in it. If your chain says 22 inches, then you should be good. My color changes were 2 rows per color. Continue repeat of 1 half double crochet till your desired size. This is how I do my color changes. You can do your color changes any way you want to, but I do not finish the stitch with the previous color. I finish the stitch with the next color that I'm going to. I did 28 rows for 12 by 12 pillow and 32 rows for a standard size pillow. Continue what you're doing till its desired size and then make your second piece. So I am done my second one and I'm not going to fasten off. I haven't made a decision on whether I'm going to fasten off or just stay attached because I'm going to be putting the two pieces together. So the one thing we do have to do, move that one out of the way, we'll bring this one back in, is weave all these ends in. Continue weaving in all your ends on both pieces. So I'm done my second piece. I'm still attached. There's my loop. I just gotta do this last piece. Just make sure you do it on the same side as everything else. So we're gonna put the two pieces together, but we're gonna put the good side. So this is, I left little nubby so I knew this is the side that I weaved. So I'm gonna flip this around, get my other piece, find the side that I weaved, which is this side. I'm gonna put the good sides back to back, and then the weaved side, so that's out and this is out, we're going to do a slip stitch around the project. We're going to flip it inside out like you do if you sewed. Now, I've already got a pillow done here. This is the artifact if you used different colored yarn. So I just used the blue, this blue that I was using in the pillow. And that's the artifact you're going to get with slip stitching. If you don't like that, then you can sew this together. You don't need to do what I'm doing. You can sew it, you can crochet it, you can do whatever your little heart desires. I'm obviously just sticking with the pink. And I am just going to crochet. So you just want to go literally stitch for stitch. And I'm going to slip stitch mine all the way around. So I'm coming to a corner. I'm on a corner. I'm going to put 2 in this corner. Oh. So now I'm on a raw edge. You could probably, I'm going to say I did 3. I wasn't paying attention when I did my last one, but I'm going to say 3. So just stick it wherever you can stick it. I'm going to try to get 3 per every 2 rows. So again, I'm back at a corner. So I'm going to put 2 in here. So right here, I'm going to put my marker in. So I've done 3/4 of the way around and I've got this whole side open. So this is where I'm going to flip it right side in. Poke out your corners. And then you can put your pillow in there. So I made mine smaller, so I'm just going to really squish mine in. I got to move some stuffing around because it's a crappy little pillow. So I'm still planning on slip stitching this end shut. So there's my where I fastened off, and I am going to slip stitch along this way. I'm not gonna be able to do it on camera because I mean this is gonna be awkward unless I do it like this. So you're going to notice that your thing is now kind of backwards and it's going to be twisted a little bit, but don't worry about that. It's not even going to be noticeable. So again, just try to keep with your colors. So chain 1 here would help with the untwisting. So I just scooch it down here. Try to stay near the top because, I'm going to show you in a second, You're gonna have this artifact on here from closing up this end, so it's gonna be noticeable. So I would stay as close to the top as possible. Don't know if I was on camera for that, but so that's my one end. So can't really get around that. Well, I don't know how. I'm not a sewer, so you could have done something way better than me. Okay, I'm gonna put everything back and come back to you. Okie dokie. It's a fluffy pillow now. There's nothing flat about it. And we recycled. Took something old and crappy and turned it into something firm and fluffy. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of weaving, but I'm first gonna make a wee tiny little knot because I don't want anything coming undone. But when I weave, this knot will get sucked up underneath. So no one's gonna feel it, no one's gonna see it. It's just added security. So that is our rainbow pillow, and now we make the centerpiece and make it a bow. Super excited. So all you gotta do is get whatever color you're starting with, and it doesn't matter if you follow the same pattern or not. I'm going to change my pattern up just to be different. So, I don't know how many chains you're going to have to do because I don't know the pillow that you're using. I would just do what I'm going to do just now. So make a chain. So that's 50. Now, when you go around, and yes, we're building it lengthwise because you don't want to hide in all those ends after. So we're gonna do it lengthwise, that way it's easy peasy. So bring yours together just to see. 50 is not going to do it for me, and that's as tight as I can do it. So I'm going to go up to 60. So that's 60. Now keep in mind it has to be tight. So 60 probably works for me because that'll be pretty tight. Now keep in mind it's also going to stretch as you're doing it. So I'm going to take off. Let me move this pillow out of the way. So I'm going to take off 4 stitches. So I have 56 stitches, and that's what mine's going to be. And it's skip the first 2, so the one on your hook and then the next one, and go into the next one, which is technically the second one from the hook because you still have that one on your hook. And I'm just gonna go ahead and make my, which would be 54 stitches now. Exact same thing as before. I did 10 rows for standard and 6 rows for 12 by 12. So that is my 40 54 half double crochet. I'm going to do 2 rows each for my colors, just like I did for my pillow. So I just did 10 rows. I just did all my colors, 2 rows each. That's all I did for my band. So I am just going to fasten off, and then I'm going to get this pillow out of the way again. Oh gosh. Tuck in all my ends. Actually, I'm just going to use the yellow for sewing, so I'm just going to leave a sewing tail with my yellow, probably a lot longer than what I need, but it's always good to have too much and not enough. So you just need to tuck in all your ends, and then we can finish this project. So once all your ends are all tucked away, find your middle. And this is going to be the difficult part. Is trying to sew it together. So I already pre-threaded, just because it's going to be easier. So I don't really need to worry about that end right now. I'm going to come through this end because this is exactly where I am on my other piece. And stretchy or not, this is how it's going to be done. I'm going to keep my stitches fairly close, just because of how stretched this is. I'm going to go down into the pillow a little bit before I come up. So if I grab a little bit of the pillow, it helps kind of keep it in place better. Much better. So grab some pillow and then grab some middle. And you're just going to have to keep just pulling it. And that is it. And then you just do the small one the exact same way. And then you fluff up your... But you have to fix it a little bit. And then you just fluff up your ends. And there you go. You've got a rainbow bow pillow. This was a flat, unused pillowcase. Now look how fluffy it is. Because I made my rainbow pillow, I made it a smaller size, so I just jammed it in there. And then when you do this, it's a really puffy pillow now. Like, it's really puffy. So I did 6 rows with my 12 by 12 pillow, and that's the little bow that you get afterwards. It's not as nice as the big, it's not as nice as the big pillow, but it's cute, still cute. It's a cute little bow. Anyway, Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.